December 7, 1941, the date that lives in infamy. For most Americans, the day began like any other Sunday. But for Lieutenant Clarence Dickinson, flying his SPD Dauntless dive bomber back to Ford Island in Hawaii, it was the day his world turned upside down. As he and his co-pilot approached Pearl Harbor, they weren't met with the familiar sight of a peaceful naval base. Instead, they flew directly into a sky swarming with Japanese Zero fighters. The surprise attack on Pearl Harbor had begun, and Dickinson was right in the middle of it. Almost immediately, his aircraft was targeted. The air crackled with the sound of gunfire. A Japanese Zero latched onto their tail, its cannons blazing. Dickinson's radio man and gunner, William Miller, fired back with everything he had. A lone machine gun against a storm of enemy fighters. But the odds were impossible. Bullets ripped through their Dauntless. The plane next to them, piloted by his friend McCarthy, was hit and spiraled down towards the water. Miraculously, McCarthy would survive the crash, but in that moment, all Dickinson knew was chaos and loss. The Zero's relentless attack found its mark. Dickinson's own plane was critically damaged, engulfed in flames. He knew they couldn't stay in the air. Over the intercom, he yelled to Miller to bail out. "Get out, Miller, jump." With the aircraft becoming an uncontrollable fireball, Dickinson followed suit, pulling his own ripcord at a perilously low altitude. He landed safely, adrenaline coursing through him. But as he scanned the sky and the ground, there was no sign of Miller. His friend and gunner was gone. The personal cost of the war had just hit him hard. Meanwhile, miles away at sea, Admiral Bull Halsey, aboard the aircraft carrier USS Enterprise, received the electrifying news of the attack. His response was immediate and filled with fury. "Get us to Pearl Harbor, full speed," he commanded. The Enterprise, which had narrowly escaped the harbor attack by being out on a mission, turned its bow towards the smoke-filled skies of Oahu. For Halsey and his men, the objective was clear: find the enemy and make them pay. The hunt for revenge had officially begun. Back on land, a grief-stricken and furious Clarence Dickinson wasn't content to sit on the sidelines. The image of his friend Miller, lost in the fiery chaos, was burned into his mind. He wanted retribution. He immediately volunteered for any mission, any chance to strike back at the fleet that had brought such devastation. He didn't have to wait long. The Enterprise became the nerve center of the American response in the Pacific, its pilots eager to draw first blood. The mood was grim, but resolute. They were no longer just sailors and pilots. They were hunters. Just 3 days after the infamous attack, the opportunity rose. An SPD Dauntless from the Enterprise, patrolling the waters near Hawaii, spotted a glint of metal beneath the waves. It was the I-70, a large Japanese submarine, one of the many that had supported the attack on Pearl Harbor. The pilot swooped in for an attack, dropping his bombs. But the turbulent water and the sub's evasive maneuvers meant the bombs missed their target. The I-70 was still out there, a lurking threat and a symbol of the enemy's recent triumph. But the Enterprise wasn't giving up. A second strike was ordered, and leading one of the dive bombers was none other than Lieutenant Clarence Dickinson. Paired with a new gunner, he climbed into the cockpit, his mind focused on a single objective. This wasn't just another mission. This was personal. This was for Miller. He located the submarine, a dark shadow moving just below the surface, pushing his Dauntless into a steep, terrifying dive. He aimed with cold precision. The bomb release was perfect. Dickinson pulled his plane up sharply, the G-force pressing him into his seat. He and his gunner watched as a massive explosion erupted in the water exactly where the I-70 had been. A huge plume of water, oil, and debris shot into the sky. The sea churned violently, and then silence. The dark shadow was gone. They circled the area, confirming the kill. The I-70 was destroyed, sent to the bottom of the Pacific. This single act was more than just sinking an enemy vessel. The destruction of the I-70 marked the very first major Japanese warship sunk by the United States Navy in World War II. It was a small victory in the grand scheme of the war that would follow, but it was a crucial one. It was a sign that America was fighting back. For Lieutenant Clarence Dickinson, it was something more. It was justice. It was revenge for his fallen comrade, William Miller. In the vast, unforgiving ocean, a debt had been paid. Dickinson's war was far from over, but in that moment, he had found his own measure of peace. The story of Clarence Dickinson is a powerful reminder of the personal courage and sacrifice that defined a generation. It's a tale of loss, resilience, and the burning desire for justice in the face of an unprovoked attack. These individual acts of bravery, multiplied thousands of times over, are what turned the tide of the war. Thanks for watching our deep dive into this incredible piece of history. If you found this story as compelling as we did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of heroism from the pages of history. We'll see you in the next one.